It's finally here. The Tarkov Arena mode just dropped, and I got some early access, so I'm going to break down what the game's actually like. Overall, the community's been really excited to play this new game mode for Tarkov. It's kind of like a team deathmatch. It can either be 5v5, or 3v3, or 2v2. All in all, it's basically just two teams fighting against each other to either kill the other team or take the objective at the end, and that's just a huge change on, obviously, the original game mode of Tarkov just being a looter shooter, and this just brings a whole new depth to it. This new arena mode has had the community extremely excited for a long time now, and now that it's finally released, people are still just really waiting to get their hands on this and play it. The smaller map sizes in Arena are a lot different than the normal kind of flow of Tarkov, just because there's usually longer range fights in Tarkov, but in Arena it's more mid-range to short-range fights. Arena mode is very important in expanding Tarkov's gameplay, because not only can the players try out weapons quicker than in Tarkov, because there's a lot of times where you'll just load into a raid, not really use your weapon for about 30 minutes, and then just die. This really doesn't improve your ability to shoot any weapons or learn the weapons when you're starting out new into Tarkov, but this new arena mode gives you different options on how to learn the game, as well as the mechanics and the weaponry. The maps being a lot smaller means that the players are more constrained to smaller areas. That leads to a lot of chaos and more action, which is really good for this game mode because you want players to be always fighting, always getting into action, and trying out their weapons. Although Arena's new, it has tons of different environments such as woods, the plain, the shipping area where they have all those crates, and they all play very differently, which is really cool to see. And people probably will be good on some maps and really bad on other maps, but it's just a really cool dynamic to have different environments in this small arena. The pre-made loadouts and simplified economy for how you get ruples from wins and how you lose ruples just kind of takes an aspect out of the game that I think really lacks for viewers' perspective, which is just watching people in their stash make loadouts and then go into the raid, which takes time away from the actual gameplay of it and just makes it really boring. So that's a really good change for them to do in Arena because it is supposed to be a game that just pushes action. The elimination style gameplay with each round is really good because it not only lets you just freely die and test out your weapons, but in contrast to normal Tarkov, you can kind of go in with a loadout and it can be a really expensive loadout, but you don't have to worry about it just being one life and then you play a different way because you're scared of losing that weapon. There's a huge increase on the emphasis of individual player skill in Arena mode, basically because even if you're unlucky for one round, which in the regular Tarkov game, if you're unlucky, you lose your whole loadout, you can get right back into it in Arena and still have your loadout, and if you're better than the other team, through the long run of the game, you're gonna win a weapon. You choose for each map really does have a huge impact on the way that you play out the map. If you're going to be playing on a long range map, you might as well choose one of the marksman classes. But if you're going to be playing in a very close quarter combat area, chances are you're probably going to use a shotgun or SMG, and this just plays a huge part in getting space for your team, or if you're just sitting back too far and not helping out your team, it's very obvious in this game mode. Arena mode encourages adaptability, kind of different from regular Tarkov, where if you die, then you have to think about how you died, and then you're not playing in the same game, so it doesn't really matter as much as in Arena, where if someone pushes the same corner on you 3 times and kills you, you might change up your playstyle for the rest of the game and just sit back farther. The Arena mode also encourages quick decision making. This can be either towards the end of the round or mid round when your team's getting pushed on the right side of the map and you can either go rotate over to help them or try to hit a flank on them. As you play in Arena and win games, you're going to get ARP, which is Arena Reputation Points. And basically what that does is lets you get new loadouts that are better. Once you get to like 2,000 or higher than that, you're going to get more reputation points that you can use for preset loadouts based off of your rank. You can also get different loadouts based off of what class you're playing. So if you're playing Marksman or CQB and you level up one specific character, you're going to get a different section of characters below that that has better loadouts and better presets, so you can bring that into your next games. You also get ruples for winning matches, and you lose ruples for losing matches, of course. If you have a preset loadout that's free, obviously you can just load into a game and not lose any ruples for that. But if you're loading in with an expensive loadout and expensive preset, and you lose the game, that's going to be really tough on your ruple amount. So you just have to kind of keep that in mind when you're playing each arena game mode. There's 4 different preset types you can choose from. There's Assault, CQB, Scout, and Marksman. There's also the one based off of your rating, but let's just take a look at the 4 for now. If you choose Assault and you just kind of focus on the left side of the tree, there's only going to be a couple of guns that you're going to be unlocking as you play through, but if you want to switch to the right side of the tree, you still have to level up that entire side. The community from the start always seemed excited, but once the game's actually been released, people were kind of seeming to change their mind, which I don't know why, because it's only being released to the public now, which I feel like that's the biggest time for games to actually progress and make the biggest changes and most fixes. So I think just give it some time, and I think this game is going to be a huge one for a lot of people to play. There has been some good feedback though, so as long long as the devs are listening to the community, then it should just go in a positive direction from here on out. Tarkov's arena mode is very important for newcomers to the game. As long as it keeps getting updated and pushed, it's a very positive addition to the game itself. I'm extremely excited to see what BSG does with the evolving gameplay of the arena mode and how they're gonna kind of update it and maybe add more maps or more weapons. And it's a really good place for them to actually test out different weapons. Also share your thoughts in the comments of what you think can be improved upon, because I'm always curious to see what you guys have to say. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below and consider subscribing if you want to see more arena videos coming out in the future. I'll be making some tier guides and kind of some strategy guides. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Later.